Hard.
And I'm hitting got it because that's what always pops up after you do that.
I know every time.
Okay. All right. Hey, we've got to get our crowd back up. Donna Taylor, good to see you. We got to get our attendance back up. We were in the 40s. It's amazing our human natures, because of the change that, George and I were talking about, and Tom and a lot of the other people. Hey, let's try to change some things around and see if we can, do better with the masterminds in the morning. That, the change kind of affected in a negative way. It's amazing. So, we were on Wednesdays, we were like anywhere from 37 to 45, I think, every morning. But it's all good because the 12 of you right now, the most important people in the world to me. Matter of fact, I'm going to reach over and turn my phone off, and I'm going to put that on. Oh my gosh, Karen Levitt's on too. Watch out, guys. Cheryl Rickard. Woo! Man, we got Jamie's here. Shannon's here. Partners here, whoever that is. We got Ying here. Hi, Ying. How are you? Good to see you. Good seeing you at that holiday party. All right. So anyway, yeah, we got a full morning. And really am looking forward to trying to help you all with this. I'm really going to talk about the lawsuit and commissions and the end of real estate commissions as we know them, according to one article that I'm going to be sharing with you. If you can really tune in this morning, I'm going to make it, if there's not a lot of participation, I don't want to hold you guys up with timing. But one of the things I'm going to emphasize again is that the fact that what the mastermind really is, it's not to come on and hear a master, because none of us are masters. None of us are masters. We are just, one human being telling another human being where we found life, where we found power, where we found, happiness, where we found health, where we found wherever we found, right? Is that the mastermind, according to Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich, is just that collective, the true mastermind of, all of the minds put together, right? All the minds put together. So that's what a true mastermind is. So staying true to that principle of a true mastermind, let's stick with that. So how is everyone? Who's got a commission story for us this morning? Anybody have anybody that has approached you, buyer or seller, or potential buyer or potential seller, and ask you about the $5 billion lawsuit? Anybody?
I've had a couple people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had well, they're both friends of mine, and just talking and wanted to
Mm.
know basically, why do the sellers have to pay 6%?
Mm-hmm.
So I had two people ask me
So
that.
that was general conversation, Shannon?
Yes,
Oh.
one person is actually down in South Carolina, and he's going to be selling actually two houses down there. And then another one is up here looking to potentially sell in my neighborhood in the next year or two.
Okay.
So they wanted to know what was going on.
Oh, good, good. So can you share with us, how did you answer that?
Probably not accurately. Just
Hey,
I was being honest.
how'd you like that response? That giggle, that was good. That was good, Shannon. Because it's yeah. Anyway, so what tell us how you tried. How did you try to answer?
Well, the one person was like, I don't understand why, the sellers have to pay 6%. What do you do about that? With regards, like, what do they say? If you bring a buyer, what do you do? And I said, well, if I'm listing your home and I bring a buyer, I could work something out with you and actually list it, or the commissions would be lower. So we got on that subject.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as them not understanding why the seller always has to pay,
Mm-hmm. So,
And
I
I
mean,
didn't have, I didn't have a good, to be honest, a good comeback for them.
okay. Oh, so a little bit more though, I'm trying to understand. You said I didn't have a good comeback, but you weren't silent. So one more time, I want to make sure I understand what you gave, because the reason I'm asking you what you gave is because I'm sure others might relate to it and say, yeah, that's probably the way I would have answered, or maybe you could have said this or said that. But one more time, so give me a name, Bob. Let's use Bob. Okay, so Bob,
Dave, Dave.
Dave. Hey, Shannon, why does the sellers have to pay 6%? Is that kind of the question?
Yes.
Because if you can try to just relive the conversation. Well, Dave, start there. Well, Dave.
Um, they don't have to pay 6%. It's something that is discussed in a listing appointment. And typically, I know that there's a lot of buyers out there that cannot afford to pay commission. So a
Okay.
lot of times the sellers have been paying the commissions.
Okay. Got
And
it.
then, yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's interesting. I'm going to come back to that. Anybody else have anybody ask you, or anybody? Yours was friends, Shannon. Anybody, any sellers or buyers brought it up yet to you?
Not yet, but when they do, I would, start off by saying that commissions are not set at 6%. If that's what they come out with from the gate, that why are commissions 6%? They're not 6%, they're negotiable. And for my services, for me doing everything I've just explained to you, if I've just done a listing presentation, that's the compensation that I'm expecting, that my broker is expecting. And then, they share that with both me and with an agent who would bring the buyer.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Anybody else? The actual not confrontation, but someone brought it up or to you? No. What's interesting is that most of the buzz and most of the conversations are coming from the brokerage community. I'm going to share my screen a second. Because this is really truly a mindset thing. There's no questions about it. Here, I'll share with you what happened to my PDF? Here we go. No, it's not that one. Hold on one sec. I had it pulled up. What did I do with it? All right. So this article appeared, the beginning of the end of real estate commissions. Hooray. This is written by a daughter that grew up in a real estate home. Her mom was a broker. And so I just kind of put it in slides. You're never going to be reading. So I just highlighted a few things. Pardon me, but there's more buzz in the industry. And then you're going to have these people like this that are going to be jumping on the bandwagon, Megan McArdle. And she, overall, it's a little balanced, but more of, it's about time, right? So what she brought up was, hey, raised by a real estate broker. She called the 6% commission sacred necessity that her mom would always charge, but her mom had a great reputation and so on and so forth. Then she goes on, I'm going to give you the link to this article. We are witnessing the beginning of the end of real estate commissions as we know them. By the way, because this is recorded for the public sees it, the industry sees it. There's a law against fixed commissions. There's no doubt, right? So this is not a discussion of what your commission should be. It's not a commissions what they, you ought to do this, you ought to do this, charging commissions, because every commission, especially if you're with eXp Realty, is you're going to decide what you feel your worth is. You're going to decide how much service you're going to have to provide. You're going to decide what your commissions are. So no way, no how is Fred DeFalco, supporting or promoting or suggesting that you ought to fix a commission. Okay. I just want to get that out there as full disclosure. This is just conversation about what's going on in the industry and with this recent lawsuit. But it's possible we are witnessing the beginning of the end of real estate commissions as we know them. The chief executive of the National Association of Realtors resigned on Thursday, though he insists it had nothing to do with the looming collapse of the current business model. I also agree with the jury that brokers have colluded to keep commissions high, absurdly high by international standards, in part by steering buyers away from listings that don't offer full commissions. This is one thing I do want to just say here quickly. There's probably not one of us on the call innocently that may have said to a seller, hey, we want to be careful with what we offer the co-broker because there may be those that may not show your property. That's kind of a no-no conversation to frame it in that way. But what you can say, hey, the traditional system is that a buyer who wants to sell their home and get as much action as possible, just common sense wise is saying, raise the flag higher and higher. It's a possibility that you will attract more attention. That's just part of human nature. I'm not suggesting that is a need to, won't, or your house won't be shown because that's not allowed by law. No, that's not the conversation I'm having with you. I'm having a practical marketing conversation. Is that, as you put your house on there, out on the market, it's up to you. Full disclosure, you could make it 0, you can make it 1, you can make it 2, you can make it 5. And you say, here's what others are doing in your marketplace. Just FYI, this is public knowledge. And you show them what other people are doing. There's nothing wrong with that conversation, but be careful how you frame that, okay? But anyway, so what she's saying, hey, internationally, it is true. In other countries, buyers rarely use brokers. I have agents in Italy, right? Very uncommon, not uncommon. It's like she's saying here, they rarely use brokers. They all call different brokers and they'll say, hey, show me that listing you have. There's not a lot of exclusive listing. And does it work? Apparently it does. They've been doing it for many years in England and the UK. Same thing. They have estate brokers, usually not a lot of exclusives, so on and so forth. Not a lot of cooperation. In my opinion, our cooperative nature in the United States and the entire code of ethics and the way we set it up in many, many ways were beautiful, but in many ways it was flawed because it did bring about many lawsuits over the years. By the way, folks, this is not the first. I've been doing this 47 years. This is not the first lawsuit. Go back and study the history. Now, this is the most, serious, the most serious award in my humble opinion, in my 47-year opinion, in my opinion of my experience within, legal proceedings and being involved in so many legal proceedings over the years and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's ever going to be collected, in my opinion. It may be settled out eventually at an undisclosed amount of money, and I don't think it would have a B in front of it. I don't think so, ever. In my opinion, that's all it is. But, and that may be 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years by the time all this stir goes away. So a buyer who does not have an agent should be able to count on that person to help get, now she comes back a little bit more positive, to help get the lowest possible price and ferret out every possible problem. The buyer should also clearly understand how much the agent will charge. And that amount should be set in an open, competitive market where customer and broker each have a say, rather than by a bunch of brokers working together to keep their fees as high as possible. This has really not been the case. It's just a matter of we've been following routine, we've been following tradition, right? So with that being said, one of the things I talked about last week, again, we come back to the fact of mindset and what business are we in? Let's see who's on here that can shout out what I've been saying for all the years you've been exposed to my teaching. What business are we in? What business are we in?
Information business.
Who just said that?
It's me, Fred, Donna Tyler.
We're in the information business. You will be paid. You are being paid currently. If you don't like what you're being paid, you just haven't gathered enough information. You haven't mastered information. A prime example of that I bring up every time is a regular agent, an agent that has not earned the CRS designation, Certified Residential Specialist, if you're selling residential, earns an average of $127,000 a year. The average agent earns $47,000 a year. What's the difference? It's the information that they've exposed themselves to. It's the education. So some of this is definitely mindset. Not some, it's all mindset, the way you treat this. And I'm going to get into some practical things that we talked about last week and take it a little bit further, what you say, what you don't say, how you position it, what I put in listing agreements. But we are definitely in the information business. So let's talk about the information. Let me just get past here. This is a presentation I do when I introduce an EXP. One thing we don't realize is the history of this business is somewhat mobbish. Now, let me give you the history of the real estate business. Before 1908, it was the wild, wild west. There was craziness going on in the industry. People weren't licensed and they were saying, I'll sell your house for you. How much you want for it? They said, well, what do you think I can get for it? The quote agent or broker, whatever they were calling themselves back at real estate. I forget, there was a couple of names they had. Oh, I'll tell you what, I think I can get you $60,000. Oh, really? Yeah, I'll take that if you get it for me. Okay. And they knew they already had it sold for 100,000 and they pocketed the 40. It was wild. I mean, that's just one little story. The commercial space was even worse. So in 1906, prior to the NAR, there was just kind of stir of integrity going on. There were two people named Colbert Coldwell and Benjamin Banker. That's where Coldwell Banker, the name Coldwell Banker came from. Colbert Coldwell and Benjamin Banker were commercial real estate people. They got together and they said, this is crazy. So they formed this company in 1906 and they said, we are going to forbid, pardon me, any of our employees, any of our practitioners from buying real estate, selling real estate, or owning real estate. That's how radical they were. They transformed the commercial real estate space in California. And they built a reputation in those 7 years that was unsurpassed ever in commercial space. It went on for years and years and years. They started to go into the residential and then just trickled into residential. And then a company named Sears Corporation in 1977, I think was the decision made that they wanted to add to their retail stores, the financial services. They had Dean Witter for investments, a company called Dean Witter. They had Allstate. They owned that. Sears owned Allstate, and they wanted a real estate arm because they saw and they envisioned in every Sears store around the country a real estate service. Because when people buy real estate, what do? They buy appliances, they buy home improvements, they decorate it, they furnish it, and blah, 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 blah. It was a natural. And had it not been for Wall Street, Coldwell Banker would have owned the real estate industry today, because I was an executive VP with them, and what we offered and what we had and the books that you got when you bought a house from Coldwell Banker was worth $10,000, $15,000 in discounts, not little discounts, 10%. I'm talking 33% off of appliances. It was crazy what we had. Wall Street shut us down the same way Wall Street will shut down Compass. And I am going on record saying that Wall Street will be shutting down Compass pretty soon. It's just the nature of the beast. You can't have the kind of debt that Compass has and stay in business. Wall Street won't allow it. And SoftBank could care less about SoftBank is the hedge fund that I was involved in a lawsuit with for 5 years on a big apartment complex. SoftBank could care less about agents and their livelihood and people, and it's just all numbers. And that's what happened to Coldwell Banker. But anyway, to get here and why does this have to do with commissions? Is that in 1908, these people gathered in Chicago. Ladies, you notice there was no ladies there, or they would have been a lot more of a kinder group. But these were tough guys, right? But they were smart guys. They said, hey, we're going to petition every state of the union to pass laws of the way that real estate business should be done, what would be allowed, what won't be allowed, blah, 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 blah. But also, they were very slick. It was the very first union and became one of the most powerful unions. Now, it's not called a union, it's called an association of the history of any union. But they were disguised. If any of you know the biblical illustration, you know, a wolf, but in sheep clothing, right? These guys, in one way, were wolves in sheep clothing. Now, they wouldn't even allow anybody to use the name Realtor. They came out with the name Realtor. When I got into the business, I was not allowed to use the name Realtor. I was an associate. I was a Realtor associate. That was the law from these guys. It started and it took many, many years to disband that. So What does this have to do with the real estate commissions? Well, two things. One, the real estate commissions, as far as agents was concerned, you could never negotiate a split bigger than 50-50. They literally, brokers in areas all over the country would meet together and say, look, we promise we will not solicit each other's people. We promise if anybody comes to us, we will not ever, ever, ever vary from that. It was a monopoly. It was a monopoly. It was crazy. It just in reference to agents, and that they controlled agents' livelihood as far as it would only be 50-50. In addition to that, they also said, hey, look, you know what? Here's how we ought to practice. And that's why we had so many lawsuits over the years, and that all broke up with anti-Sherman, antitrust laws and so on and so forth over the years. The name Realtor, they were threatened to be sued and blah, 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 because agents started saying, well, what happened, they had a monopoly all the way until this man came along in 1973. He broke that kingship wide open because he started talking about, hey, agents, I'm going to pay you 100%. Come and take a look what I'm doing. Well, the reality is I've never met a Remax agent in my life that, is anywhere near 100%. The best I've ever seen is 80, 81, 82, 83% if they're lucky, because with the fees and franchise fees and office expense and all the other kind of stuff. But it was phenomenal. He took the industry by storm. David Lininger actually used to get hate mail. His life was threatened, literally threatened. So here's the way I respond when that lawsuit comes up. I say, hey, listen, I am so glad that happened, because I want to be a part of an industry. I take the high road. I want to be a part of an industry that's pure. The industry that I'm so proud of and being a part of it and being proud to be a realtor has been changed many, many times. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it had to be changed with lawsuits. And this is one of the biggest and the best. I'm really looking forward to the outcome. That's my answer to people that ask me. But guess what? I was in front of a seller the other day, and they had their home listed with what some people would call a discount broker, which you got to be careful using those terms. A lot of people would refer to them as that. But when it came down to the compensation, the first thing I always say is there really is no compensation that we need to discuss today, because the compensation really doesn't get discussed until there is a sale on your property. I said, but let me show you this listing agreement that I have. And I want to show you the clause first, that any and all commissions that are in this agreement are fully negotiable based upon the success in the amount of money the broker receives on behalf of the seller and their ability to negotiate to the seller's favor. Things like that. I've added that in my list of agreements over the years. Then I say, now the agreement says, for the record, I'm not saying you put this in yours, and it was $1.2 million house. I said, now the agreement says 6%. I'm going to tell you right now, that 6% is for a grand slam. If I can pull off a grand slam, by the way, Mr. Seller, before we discuss this right now, like I said, we really don't need to negotiate any of this until there's a sale, because I may have to spend a whole lot of money. But if I don't have to spend a whole lot of money at the end and it sells quicker, then blah, 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 then because they had it expired, so it's a little bit easier. But this is fully negotiable. So if, let's talk about it. I said, well, would you really, if you don't really get the results that you'll negotiate? Well, absolutely. I'll be the first. I'll volunteer it. I said, I'm here to help you succeed. I hate the word commission. I charge a success fee. In my opinion, from the best offer we get, if I can't get you, a whole lot more than what that offer was, or above and beyond what my cost is, I don't feel real good about it. Now, sometimes it might happen, but we're going to sit and talk about it when we get that offer. And that's the way I treat a seller. But slow it down a little bit in reference to anybody that asks you. You need to believe, I believe in divine intelligence, divine integrity, and that includes both personally, corporately, everything else. Wars among nations, is that none of this stuff is out of control. I believe that this is pure. I think it's to purify us. I think it's to purify the people that are in it, either get better or get out. Get better or get out. And, it's time that all the remnants of these guys, now these are some of them very respected people. I want to be careful. I'm not totally blasting them, but they set up a almost like a union. And there's people like this, and it's lawsuits and it's EXP that radically changed. Now look at it. We got Fathom, we got Real, we got LPT, we got all these things that are coming. And there's people like Gary that changed the industry. He said, hey, let me share a little bit of profit with you guys. Okay. Now it doesn't 100% work out very well, but it does for some people. Prior to EXP, it was fantastic. Now, what's going to happen to all these franchises? See, I think it's another thing. I think the brand is gone. I think it is death of a brand also, not just commissions. It's going to be up to the powerful independent agents empowered by a good system. That's what I think. Almost like an Uber car. The better looking it is, the better it smells, the more services they offer you, and a bottle of water in the back and a big smile on the face of the driver. You know what? You can call it Uber all day you want. All you do is remember that driver, right? And I believe that you're going to see Compass is going to be the first to go out here shortly because of the change in the market and what have you. Anybody has a franchise fee is going to be a big challenge because they can't convert to company-owned locations. And EXP is not going away. We've got all these leaders. We got all these people vested. Fathom's not going away. Josh Harley, that I took the time to meet personally, intentionally on a Zoom when I first come aboard. LPT, he's the same way. Met him, talked to him. Robert Palmer. Folks, I wanted to have information because I'm good. Now, I'm not only good because of my information. That's the only reason, because I believe in the mastermind. And you know, I was offered a position with Gary when he first came into Florida. Hindsight, maybe it may have been a good decision, but I didn't, so it's okay. But anyway, so be positive about this. Be positive about this. So the mindset needs to be, first of all, and then we're going to get into this. What do you say? What don't you say? What's that listing agreement look like? And so on and so forth. So the this here is it's good. It really is good for the industry, in my opinion. Now, what I did is that, or matter of fact, someone else sent this to me too. There is I'm going to put this link in here now in the chat of a video from NAR finally, and you all may have seen it already, but I do want to put it in the chat. Let me put it in here. Oh, that's the wrong one. I have the wrong link. One sec. Morning chat. This link is a very good one. Just got it here. Let's go. Let's go. Where are my links? Okay. Let me give you this link here. I just watched it. Here it is. NAR billion. Very good article. I mean, very good, very great response. If you haven't seen this yet, don't start playing it now. Just copy and paste it for yourself later. That's a problem when you get on cell phones on the masterminds. You know that it's hard to get these links, but that's a good, and you can look it up on your NAR dashboard. It's by Tracy, Tracy Casper, the president of NAR, the current president. She did a real good response and talked about it and what have you. Okay, so that's that. So let me go here on the mindset as this relates to it. I've been here's another thing, mindset. Thank you, Frank Hopkins. Are you on the call today, Frank? He shared this book with us, and he's been putting out some pages of that really good stuff. This is a great mindset. This is this morning's lesson out of A Course in Miracles. I have no purpose for today except to look upon a liberated world. I want to look upon a liberated profession, right? That, set free from all the judgments I have made. Don't make any judgments about this stuff, folks. This is the way you stay free. Don't make any judgments about this lawsuit. Make it. Here's another one. Rise above mediocrity. If you are going to stay in this business, either step up, learn up, and be better, or step out, because this lawsuit is flush out all the nonsense, and you deserve a really good fee for the amount of business, the amount of work that goes into doing a listing properly, marketing it properly, knowing what to say, what not to say, how to put deals together, how to save deals. That is very worthy of a very good 6-digit minimum a year income. If you're not making 6 digits in the real estate business, you haven't showed up. You haven't studied. You don't have the information. The average CRS, as I said, 127,000, the average 127,000. So by the way, the mindset, the Mind Body Mastermind, for all those who've been a member of it, it's going to a private community tomorrow, and that's intentional because I want to start being able to do a whole lot more videos with one another and people that are struggling, people who are succeeding, and really, so people, it's a real true community. Okay. So come in here. Our challenge this month, unleash the power of self-discipline. Okay. Unleash the power of self-discipline. This has been absolutely game-changing for me with Miyamoto and I put in this mediocrity video this morning that showed up on my feed at first thing this morning when I woke up. It was on my feed. 15-minute. I don't want to take the time now because I want to get into, the lawsuit and what to say and the practical and what you add to your listing agreement. But please come in here. And if you're not a member, let me put this in here. It's going to be a closed membership. So let me put this in the chat. And then we're going to I'm going to stop my screen share. All right. So I just put that in the chat. If you're not a member, come and join us. This here was followed the October challenge, which very few people that were verbal about it in here. And I think sometimes because it's a public community, they may be not as apt to share a lot of personal stuff. But up here, when you come in, it's featured posts, the October challenge, your inner voice, illusions or reality. If you're not making 6 digits a year in here, in this industry, there is something wrong. That's because you're not following the mastermind principle, the true mastermind, what it's for. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Come in, take advantage of this. I'm going to put a link to my spiritual side of success again. If you haven't been through this in a while, please do it because it is let me share. Let me copy this link, copy link, anyone with link, copy link. Folks, if this doesn't rattle your cage, why you need to become radical, then nothing will. You need to become radical if you're already earning the kind of money you want to earn and you are okay with it, then you need to come in and talk about how so you can maintain it. But we got to get serious, is that just with our health, some of the statistics and, the cancer rates and the obesity and this. And then when you get into the income, remember the Mind Body Mastermind is very simple. My goal for you, healthier, happier, wiser, and wealthier. And this percentage, this statistic blows my mind. 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. The average American has $90,000 in debt. Only 40% can cover 3 months of expenses. 50% difficulty paying for a $400 emergency expense. 19% of adults not being able to pay the expense at all. Folks, this needs to be radically changed. And, this is the adding wisdom and time together. I have a couple of my coaching clients, they're just struggling with time blocking. And they're not falling in love with blocking their time. Miyamoto, in that mediocrity, he brings this up about time blocking way back in the 1500s, all about time blocking. Before you know it, your time is out. It's over. We're here to get control of our calendaring consistently. And, so I'm going to put this in here. And the whole idea is to make sure that we are living over here in a powerful way, raising the thermostat up for ourselves so the thermometer follows. Folks, you don't work on the thermometer to change the thermostat. You work with the thermostat to change the thermometer. That's what Mind Body Mastermind is all about. It's all about aspiration, not always adapting to your ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. So it's all about thriving and abundance and as an individual, not just surviving and being a survivor and scarcity and roles and all that other stuff, right? So anyway, with this lawsuit, if you're struggling and a struggler, that's because you're not over on the side, right? Because we're going to stretch. I'm going to get better. I'm going to word my listing agreement different. You know, and over here, I'm not going to be a prisoner to all this bad news. I'm going to be a participant in it. I'm going to be part of the change. I'm going to live the change. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better where I'm not telling you what to charge. You know, part of my listing agreement, I do 6, and I only encourage the seller to, I don't encourage them. I tell them I'm only willing to pay a co-broker 2.5% because I'm going to spend the money in marketing. I'm going to do the work. Again, I'm not recommending that. That's what I do. That's not a recommendation. And you know, and then also I adapt if I have to, based upon the price, You know, I'm working on a $6.5 million listing. I charged 4%. So again, not making any recommendations, whether you should adjust, not just, because that's against the law. I'm just telling what Fred DeFalco does. That's all this is all about. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to put this in here in the chat. If you haven't been in here in a while and you really want to get good and you really want that, please print this out for yourself and your family. Go through it together. Talk about, hey, are we using our time wisely? Are we adding wisdom? Are we getting happier as a family in a relationship? Are we getting healthier? Are we getting happier? You wealthier? Because that's what it's all about. Okay. So let's get off to the practical one more time. Let's talk about listing agreements. What should I say? What should I say? What should I write in there? What shouldn't I write in there? And I'll open it up. Okay. For the discussion. And I put that in the thing in the, you know, Karen has what happens. People that are on their phone and they take a call. They forget, by the way, just so you all know, that she took a call while she's on and didn't turn her camera off. So somebody else was doing that. And did you all get the video? Everyone got the video from NAR. Read that. I mean, go through that. That was pretty good. That'll help quite a bit. But anybody else chime in, open up, discuss. Are you comfortable in adding what I talked about in the listing agreement? And they're all different, by the way, based upon before I would sit and talk with anybody, I, you know, decide how I'm going to word it. You know, if it's a commercial deal, if it's residential. Anybody else? Lawsuit. Words to say, words not to say.
Words to say.
What's that?
So I have something for you. I have a question.
Oh, good.
So when I was speaking to my friend about the potential of listing his house, and he's asking about the 6% and, you know, negotiating down the total commission if I were to bring a buyer, I said, absolutely, we can discuss that. But then when you initially have a listing presentation and, you know, you say the commission 6, 3 goes to lists, 3 goes to sales side. So his question was, why would I pay the same amount to the agent on the other side as I would pay to you? I would love to hear what you have to say.
That's correct. And, you know, here's another thing. See, you talk about purification, folks. Over the years, and I'm an auctioneer, and when I used to do auctions as well, sometimes my fee would be, you know, 8%, 9%. And the co-broke only ended up at a close at 2.5%. They said I would get hate mail. I would get email. One time I did it just on a regular sale. You know, I got a 7% commission. I only paid out 2.5%. Oh my gosh. The agent wrote me just at the closing and said, this is unethical. I'm reporting it to the board. And I said, well, let me just explain just for a second. I want to tell you that there's no explaining. That's how the broker called me. My phone rang later. It says, this is broker so-and-so. And I just got off the phone. My agent, we are definitely taking it to board. This is unacceptable. Now you're talking about a broker's been around for 10 years. Where in the world do they get this information? Where in the world, how could they ever get that kind of information? And also not respect someone that has the marketing ability to do that. You know, so the brokerage community, and it's been, you and many other people, you know, it's like agents like Chris Dove, you know, who's one of our agents that thought she had to have a special license to do commercial transactions. And as soon as I told her no, she did a 1.7 million commercial transaction 8 days later. So you really got to know your craft. You got to understand the business. You got to understand the rules. And I'm glad you're on this mastermind because that is totally out the door. you know, and this is one of the reasons that lawsuit happened, because of what you said, because you said that because that's what you were trained from your previous company or just from your exposure to the business. No, not at all. The conversation you need to have with that seller going forward, or another seller you're going to face, saying, Mr. Seller, you don't have to pay a co-broker anything, you know, but the way it works is they do that as incentive because they want to sell their home. That's optional, you know, and in the way I do, you know, what my fee that I look for, and I don't like the word commission. I like success fees. But the way the form is written is called commission, and I'll live with that, but it's a success fee. If I'm not as successful for you, I'm going to be the first to say, you know what? I'm not going to be paid. I tell people, if I hit a home run, I want to be paid like a home run hitter for you. If I get you way above, guys, that means I made you extra money. I didn't cost you money. Matter of fact, right in my listing agreement, I have a page that says, I don't cost you money. I make you money. That's why you want to use my services, right? And right away, everyone say, oh, send me that. I want to see it. No, come up with your own because you're creative, right? I mean, I'll show you my listing agreement, you know, maybe next week, next Wednesday. I'm going to show my listing presentation next Wednesday, you know, how I talk about fees and what I talk about. I don't cost you. I talk about value versus price. I have it right there. And then my little clause just simply says, before I talk about commission, when I say, what's your commission? I said, well, first of all, let me show you what this agreement says down at the bottom, special terms. Any and all commissions in this agreement are fully negotiable at the time the seller makes the decision on the purchase agreement. I said, Mr. Seller, when you sign this, you're not forced to pay me a dime. You're only forced when you sign a purchase agreement. Now, if I hit the full price that we put in there, then yes, you would be obligated to that. And I just tell them the facts. And most people, it resonates with them. If I'm able to make you money, not cost you money, you know, I'm going to share in the success. It's called a success fee. And I've used illustrations like, you know, why do movie stars have agents, you know, and pay them a lot of money? It's because it pays them, right? It's not because they just don't want to deal with somebody. It's that they do better for them than they would do for themselves. And I can do better for you than you could do for yourself. And so I just talk about that. And then when it gets down to the compensation, I say, you know, on this particular transaction, you know, I just bring it up as I'm going over it. I don't highlight it. Now, if they bring up the conversation, what is that? You know, I then say, oh, what we do is offer out a compensation. I don't have in there if I sell it myself. Now, I will get to that on the listing agreement. If it comes up, I would say, as my clause says, all commissions are negotiated. You know, yeah, if there's not another person and I haven't spent I said sometimes, and I have. Now, a lot of people on this call may have not. I have already spent in access on higher listings more than 1% in marketing expense because I knew and I understood when I was real active. I don't do that much anymore because I have, you know, a team I work with. But I have spent as much as 1% or you know, on marketing expense. So you take on a $600,000 house, that's $6,000, right? If I put that money out and I took that risk on your house in order to really get the price, you know, so just really keep studying, reading, go get your GRI designation, get your CRS designation, get your marketing designation, you know, just keep getting better, commit to your industry. First of all, mindset. Second of all, will set. You got to have the will to do this, and then you get the skill set. Okay. So does that help, Shannon? I know I ramble, but does that help? You know, just keep it simple. And in the attitude, you know, my mentor, Dr. Dennis Waitley, who wrote The Psychology of Winning, you know, he always said, the decision of the buyer is based upon the value of the seller, the person bringing the product or the service. If you're having a struggle, just keep getting better. I'm having a struggle with some of my marketing and my coaching business. And it's just one thing's not working, another thing's not working. And I had a big meeting this morning and I just keep getting, okay, I'm going to read more. I'm going to study more. I just bought a course from two 26-year-olds. I paid $2,200 for that course. What am I going to learn from two 26-year-olds? I've learned an awful lot. It's the mind, it's the mastermind, it's the mastermind, right? And that's why that mastermind is so important for you to really get into it, come in, participate, pour out your heart in the good and the bad. Like Frank is sharing all his success with that book, right? His walking. Look what Frank is 61 years old. Watch his little video where he shared in the mastermind of what he's done to his body just by walking, which that's the way that whole mastermind started, by the way. It started with the 100,000 step challenge. I did it in a week. I was doing it for over a period of like 3 months for a week. But I said, do it in a month. It doesn't matter. Do it in 3 months. I don't care, but commit to something. 100,000 steps a month, and then put headphones on, program your mind, and always be walking. Walking is the most powerful therapy in the world because you're moving forward. And if you add some positive input to cure that mind, that monkey mind, that soul cancer, again, soulcancer.org, look it up, that soul cancer that goes on in the article that I just gave you, the Google Drive, I talk about soul cancer. Walking is the most powerful thing you can do. You want to get good in the real estate business? Put your headphones on, tune in how to make $1 million in real estate commissions, and start walking. And you keep putting that into your head. Guess what you're going to be doing next year? You're going to be making a whole lot more than you're making today. So that's the mastermind, because you're taking advantage of, Ricky Caruso's mind. You're taking in Mike Ferry's mind, Fred DeFalco's mind, George Philbeck's mind, whatever you're listening to and moving forward and walking. You want to radically change. By the way, it's 2024 for everyone on this call. If you're in the real estate business, whatever you do today is 2024 results. So become an icon agent in 2024. That should be everybody's goal. Become an icon agent with EXP Realty so you get the $16,000 in stock. And now you're a true partner in the firm, and your commission split is 105%, 110% instead of, 80-20. So the mastermind is really important. Please participate in that. That spiritual side of success that I put in there, please digest that, practice it. Take the picture of the clock. I get very few calls. I tell people, even my coaching clients, I want to choke them. I'll say, okay, I want that clock up 3 different spots in your house. I want you to take a picture of it, camera. I have to bug them 4 different sessions. I haven't gotten your pictures yet. Oh, I know. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it up. I said, why are you paying me? If you're not doing the work, our minds, we let them default to the monkey mind. If you came into my house in my bathroom and you see the post and stuff I have up, you go, this guy's kind of weird, I need it. I want reminders of the way my mind should be working. I don't want it to be by default, because that programming I received when I was a kid will take over. So this mastermind's important. Okay. All right. Anybody else with the commissions?
Mr. Fred, good morning. What's going on?
Yo, hey, I didn't see him. He didn't have his camera on. Jacopo. Hey, by the way,
how's going on?
Look, he's goofing off this morning. I didn't get a text from him till 5:30. He slept in this morning. Jacopo,
No. I'm super wake up this morning.
Anyway, he's down in Miami there. Hey, Jacopo and I with the Luxury and Wealth Group, by the way, that mastermind, that community is also going private, because, I'm doing a Thursday mastermind every morning, Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. By the way, you don't get in on that mastermind without your computer on, without your camera showing. It starts at 8:29. If you're 8:33, we can't let you in. Go to here. I'm going to do it while he's on. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you spoke up, Jacopo, with your camera off. I didn't know you were there.
How's going on? Super good, Fred.
Speak up, my friend. Go ahead.
Nothing. I listening what you tell. Everything is super true, and I think some people, they need already. Everybody, we need a program for the 2024.
Without a question. And you know what? Here, let me give you invite. Where's my invite? Where's my link? I got all these Zoom things. Hold one sec. Here, I'll just do this. Here we go. If you have not joined the Luxury and Wealth Group. What's that? If you have not joined the Luxury and Wealth Group, we invite you to do that. Every Thursday now at 8:30, I do a mastermind on Thursday morning for the Luxury and Wealth Group. It is Jacopo and I attraction that we're trying to attract using this, but I'm telling you, 6-digit checks are not, it says right in here, I'm gonna put this in the chat, are not only possible, but inevitable for a properly structured real estate career. And if you have not had a 6-digit commission check and you've been in the business more than, oop, I'm hitting the wrong button. What's the word? Oh, here's my chat. If you have not had a 6-digit check and you've been in the business more than 1 year, you're hanging out with the wrong people. Hang out with me on Thursdays at 8:29. Do not come at 8:33. You will not get in. Don't come on a cell phone, and you must have your cameras on, and you must promise that your phone is off and upside down, just like mine is right now with the phone off. We're only 30 minutes. If you show up there, I'm promising people for 6 months and you commit to being held accountable, you will get a 6-digit commission check in the next 12 months. If you come here 6 months, that's my commitment. How many of you, anybody had a 6-digit check in the business besides Jacopo? Karen, did you? Oh, I thought she raised her hand.
No, I did.
Oh, good.
Did you say
When?
you can't do it on a cell phone?
No.
Oh, because I'm gonna be in the car tomorrow at that time. I wanted
Oh,
to
that's
be on it.
okay. You get the next week. The
Okay.
reason is because the links I share and the things that I do, you need to be engaged. You need to be there. But you can get the next week. Well, can you tell us about your 6-digit commission check? Boy, how many of you want to hear about the 6-digit commission check?
For sure.
When was it?
Yes, I want one.
Oh, you want one? Oh, I thought you said you've had one. Yeah. Yeah. They're nice, especially when they have a 2 in front of them, you know, and especially I've had one with a 3 in front of it. It's pretty nice. Pretty
Wow.
nice. And then when you're really out there, I wish Patrick Ledane was on. Patrick Ledane from Haiti, originally his family's from Haiti, and he's an agent. And because of information, he saw a house that was a little bit overgrown and all that kind of stuff. And he saw it was in the back, and he started getting nosy. And he started saying, I got to find out, what is this property? He went on the doctor and nobody there. Of course, it was vacant. And then he saw the sign. And he said, yeah, that was an old sign. He could no numbers on it. What in the world's going on? It's probably he started digging. He wouldn't stop. Folks, he bought a house for $22,000 legal costs. He turned around, he got a mortgage on it for $186,000. Because of information. You're in the real estate business, folks. You got to really start showing up in the mastermind, get that head straight, get your will set straight, and then get the skill set together. Because I want you to have a 6-digit commission check. Okay. Anything else about the lawsuit? Words to say, words not to say. Be positive about it. I am so happy it came. It's going to flush out more people that are so, folks, I meet people all the time in this business. Hey, Fred, I've been in the business 25 years. Hey, man, that's fantastic. And I start talking to them. They've done the same thing they learned their first year 25 times over. Don't become like that. Really, really, really every day study your craft. Read, study, watch YouTube videos. Keep walking. Jacopo's out walking now, I think. Are you out walking? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted, man. You're muted.
Yeah, yes, I do gym right now, because I finish my 3 hour the work, no, 4 hour the work until now, and now I take like
1:30.
half an hour.
There's nothing greater, right? I mean, sometimes I'll do. Yeah, yesterday I went to bed at 7:30. I got up 12:30. I did 2 hours worth of work. Not work, creativity. I did 2 because I don't call work. I call it 2 hours of creating. And I went back and I took another 3-hour nap, and I'm up, ready to go. Jacopo, you're walking to the gym. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I go to the gym.
Walking to the gym.
Yeah.
It's just habits, folks. You got to watch Miyamoto, the mediocrity video, the 15-minute, 20-minute. Watch it with your significant other. Watch it with your children. Invite people to Mind Body Mastermind to be a part of this. Let's make a real true mastermind. I'm committed to this. This all started 4.5 years ago with the first Wednesday. I called it Soulful Wednesday. And where we've gone with this and that mastermind community, but only those that are really challenging themselves and going, yeah, it is an inside out job. Life is an inside out job that you're doing yourself, right? So this lawsuit's no different. Okay. All right. Last call.
Have a wonderful day.
Last call. You too, buddy. Hey, last call for alcohol. Last call.
Thank you, Fred.
Anybody? All right, you're welcome. Whose partner just spoke up? Someone just said, thank you.
Roxana, how are you? I just
Oh,
got-
yeah, okay, Sana, you need to make sure you, Roxana, you need to make sure you watch a little YouTube video, how to change my my Zoom
Sure,
window.
of course,
That's
okay.
just your Zoom setting, okay?
Yes,
That's just
okay.
your Zoom setting. All right, and Mr. iPhone and SEL iPhone 13. Now, some people don't want their name displayed because of the protection program. Cheryl Rickert, I want you that S capital and that R capital. Show off that beautiful name. MSLN.
I got a new phone, so that's why.
Tiffany, please, I want to know who a MSLN is. They are like, who is it?
I don't know.
MSLN. I have a gift for you if you reveal your identity.